Okay, number 19 says find the value of x. Okay, you get some points for that, and then tell whether the side lengths form a Pythagorean triple. Well, Pythagorean triple there's two things that happen. They work in a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So they always work that, and are whole numbers. So a lot of numbers work, but they'll form decimals, and so then we will go, okay, that's not a Pythagorean triple. It works in the Pythagorean theorem. So let's see if it works. We can definitely get the Pythagorean theorem here very easily. A equals 1, B equals 15, C equals X. And how do I know that? Because there's a right angle here, so I know the C is always the hypotenuse, the longest side. So let's write that in there. So A squared is 1 squared plus 15 squared equals C squared. That would be 1 plus 225 equals C squared. That's 226 equals C squared. And when I square root both sides, I get C equals, I got 15.03. Well, that means it worked. There's the answer for x. Okay, great. Is that a whole number? It's not a whole number. So this triple is not a Pythagorean. I'm not going to spell it all. It's Pythagorean triple. Okay, let's go to the next question. Okay, the next question is number 10, and we were supposed to determine whether it's a right triangle or not. Now, a lot of people just looked at the picture, but I wanted to see some work. Okay, and they told me it's not drawn to scale, so there's definitely could be some error in the drawing because the person didn't draw it right, and that's okay. We'll just check it. Okay. And we always know that if this is a right angle, now we don't know if it is, that looks like the biggest angle, then this is going to be C in Pythagorean theorem, and then you can make this A and this B. Now remember, we don't know if it's a right angle, so we're going to check Pythagorean theorem, A squared plus B squared equals C squared, and we're going to see if that works. Okay? So let's try it here. 14 squared plus 24 squared, does that equal, whoops, that doesn't look, so we'll write it over here, does that equal 28 squared? So you can do that on the calculator right now. Hopefully you got what I got there. 14 squared is 196, 24 squared is 576, and 28 squared was 784. And when you add those, that's 772, and it does not equal 784. So they didn't ask me what kind of triangle. They said, so you can just say not a right triangle. But we also know that the C squared was actually bigger. So that means this is actually, so it's actually an obtuse triangle. Okay, we didn't have to say the red part, but it definitely makes it a better answer. And we got one more here to do. Okay, so they're telling us in this problem there's two routes they can go. The first route they can go is to be safe, but it's a longer route. It's to go the red route. Okay. The second route they can go is the yellow route. That's probably a more adventurous route, straight across the gorge, but it's more expensive to build a bridge across there, even though it's shorter than the red route. So they're trying to figure out which route to go on. Okay, so let's go back and read the problem. It says you were hired by the state Parks and Recreation Department to determine whether it would be more economical to construct a walking bridge across the gorge, that's the yellow part, or walking a path around it, that's the red part. The path involves walking 1,170 feet, taking a 90-degree turn and walking another 520 feet. So 1100, whoops, wrong thing I got there. 1170 feet, then taking a turn and going 520 feet. Okay? The path costs, so in red I'm going to write that the path is $6 per foot. Okay? The bridge costs $11 per foot, so I'm going to write that there, $11. I don't know if you can see that, per foot. Okay, that's for there, and we don't know the length of it. Now, if the bridge is probably more expensive, but if it's only $1,500, if it's only $1,500 or less, they're going to do that. It's probably going to bring more people in because it's kind of cool to be above the gorge there and looking down. But otherwise, it's way too much money. So if it's more than $1,500, you're going to go with the walking path. So you want to see how close the costs are. So let's do I know I used yellow, but I'm going to use purple here, okay? So you can see it better. This is purple, and it's $11 per foot. So we can see it a little bit better. Okay, so that's what we want to do here. So let's figure out how much it costs in red to do the path, the walking path. Let's figure out what it is. Well, we already know it's 1170 plus 520, so that's 1,790 feet. And we're going to multiply that times $6 per foot. So it turns out our feet, we get cold feet and they cancel out. And then we do 6 times 1,790. And you can do that on your calculator right now. So I calculated that as being $10,740 for the walking path. Okay? So let's figure out how long the gorge is going to be. Well, it's a right triangle. We can use Pythagorean theorem. And so we're going to get 520 squared plus 1170 squared equals, let's call it x squared. So x equals what? Well, we're going to take the square root of both sides. So 520 squared plus 1170 squared. X's distance is what? Now I'll let you calculate it on your calculator. I'll pause this for a second. So once I did 520 squared plus 1170 squared, I got 1,639,300 square feet. So I square rooted it and I got about 1,280 feet. Now how much did we say the money was? $11. So we're going to times this by $11 per foot. And again, feet cancels out feet and I'm left with dollars, so I know this is going to be the price. And that's going to be right there, the price. Okay, so let's put that in there. So I'm just going to multiply by 11. And I got $14,083.87. Now I'm not going to worry about the cents. Okay, so let's subtract those. And when we subtract those two numbers, I'm going to subtract that from the path. And when I do that, I'll get a negative number, but I'm going to show how close it is. I get negative 3343.86. So the question comes down to 1,500. Are they within $1,500 of each other? Now, if you did 14 minus 10,000, okay, same idea. They're not. It's not within $1,500. So the answer is, which option should you recommend? I should recommend, well, I don't like that color, so I'll do it in black. Recommend the walking path. It's less than $1,500 cheaper. Okay, so kind of fit in. It's less than $1,500 cheaper. There it is. Corrections are done.